Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? This morning. It is currently 4:42 a.m. on this cold Monday evening going into Tuesday. It is currently 28 degrees outside. You know, weather is a weird thing. Let's talk about weather for a second. You know, some days I'll drive around and I'll say, oh, you guys, it's like frigid cold outside, it's freezing. And I will look at the temperature and it's like 30 something, right? Then tonight, it doesn't seem as cold as it's been. And it's colder than it's been. In fact, I have my plastic Birkenstock sandals on tonight for comfiness, for ultimate comfy, coziness of the world. I have water with me tonight. I think this was a Christmas cup that I got last year. I was like, I need to start using different cups. My friend Valerie always tells me that. And then I also brought my Peanuts Snoopy Christmas glass, the Diet Coke. I wasn't really in the mood for coffee right now because, well, I'll be up in a few hours having my first cup of coffee for the day. I went to bed last night at like 12 and just woke up at like 4. I mean, I like got up, took the dogs out and left. So I literally got up about 15, 20 minutes ago. I was sleeping really like deep tonight. I woke up at like 1:30 and I was gonna come out and vlog. But I was so cozy in bed. Alex and I are both very, very pleased with our plaid. Let me see if I can pull this back a little bit. There we go. With our red plaid Sherpa comforter. In fact, we were laying in bed the other day and Alex goes, I really like this comforter. And I said, I do too. And he said, it's so cozy. And it really is. It was so sweet. I don't know if you guys will remember this, but when PB passed away, a viewer whose name is Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer, if you're out there. I would love to know if Jennifer is still watching my videos, because this is one of the most meaningful things ever. Jennifer crocheted for Boo and Tucker each a comfort blanket. And they're like this big. They're just these little blankets. And they're all different colors and stuff. They're very pretty. One of them has kind of like, I would say, more like traditional reds and blues in it. And that's Boo's. And the other one is more like pale pinks and purples and things. I think of it more of like a grandma's kind of like, and that's Tucker's. And they know the difference between them. But Boo Radley doesn't really use his very much. Boo Radley doesn't use toys. He doesn't understand, like none of that stuff. It kind of makes me sad sometimes because I wish he had like a little toy that Boo Radley really liked, you know, but Boo Radley is just more a people person. And so he's always just on us or like in between. He sleeps in this little ball in between our pillows usually. But I lay out Tucker's blanket on the end of the bed. And Tucker's also kind of like all over the bed when he sleeps. And so I always lay out his little comfort blanket. That's what she called it. And then I put on there his lamb chop, his lady, and then little lady, the little lamb chop. And I put them side by side. And he is so sweet, you guys. I put it on there last night, and was it last night or the night before? Well, I put it on there every night. I stretch it out, and they're always at the end of our bed on like our little thing that we have, our chest, to the end of our bed. And he, like, the lights went off, and I was like, where did Tucker go? And so I took my phone and I like shined it down the end of the bed, and he was laying on his comfort blanket with his little head on his lady. It was so sweet. They're the sweetest dogs. They really are such good boys. They are so sweet. So what did I do today? Well, I do have to say this too. It's funny because I've like been, when I walk by the front porch all lit up at night, it just looks so cozy out there with the plaids and the pillows and the plants and everything. It looks so nice on our front porch that I always kind of stand there and just kind of like take it in. And when I drive away, I always kind of take it in for a moment. I've taken all these pictures from it. I think I'm like really trying to appreciate each and every moment. It was funny because, so I got us carry out from Maggiano's tonight, and I was like waiting for it to be ready and go pick it up. And so Alex was like in bed with the dogs, and so I went upstairs, and he said something about the Christmas tree that I had ordered. Oh, I had put the Christmas tree, the box, because I had it on like his chair, like it's not that we have our own chairs at the dining room table. It's just a chair that he puts his coats on, and then I have the chair next to it that I put my coats on and stuff. Well, I had his box, or I had the Christmas tree box that I had ordered from that Cranberry Frog. I had it on his chair, so you couldn't really see it when I was filming videos. And he moved it over to my chair because he had he always puts his like work bag in that chair. And so then yesterday or the day before, I put it out in the garage. And so he made a comment about it, and he was like, so you bought that Christmas tree so that you could keep it in the garage? And I was like, no, smart ASS, I did not. I just wanted to get it out of our way. And he goes, well, I don't know why you bought it if you weren't going to put it up. You were really excited about it. You kept on talking about this Christmas tree, right? Well, I've been so busy that, like, so he was in bed, and I went upstairs, and he goes, so when are you going to put up that Christmas? I said something about something being Christmassy, and he said, when are you going to put up that Christmas tree? And I just looked at him, and I was like, And so, like, I marched downstairs to the garage, and I grabbed that Christmas tree, box, and I brought it upstairs, and there's like, it's like a flocked tree, and so I cleaned out that whole corner, and there was like, because there were dust bunnies and stuff in that corner, so I was like, I cleaned out that whole corner, and there was like, all of this, like, that flocked stuff, from a tree. It was going everywhere, on the bed, on the floor. It's a cute tree. It's almost exactly like the tree that I already have for downstairs. But the thing is really cute, this is really cute, is it comes with like these bags. So they're like really nice, like those plastic zipper bags, And so one bag has like this garland in it. It's pre-lit. One bag has like a bow and your star in it. And then the other bags have like different kinds of ornaments. There's like 6 different kinds of ornaments that comes with it. And so you can decorate this whole tree. So I put up the garland, and I put the star on there, and then it comes with this big ribbon, and I put the ribbon on there, this bow. And then I hung a bunch of candy canes on there because it comes with these candy canes. And then I was kind of done. I was kind of like, okay, because you have to like hang each ornament. Well, obviously you have to hang each ornament separately, and they're so small. The little ornaments are like that big. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna hang all of these different ornaments. So I was like, it looks perfect. I really just want it for the lights anyway, so that I can turn it on like when I'm taking a nap or whatever, and it'll be real Christmassy in the bedroom. And it looks real nice. I wouldn't say it's the nicest looking Christmas tree in the entire world, but and next year I think I'll probably put more of the ornaments on and stuff like that. I might, over the next couple days throw more of the ornaments on there, but for right now, Christmas tree is done. Now, I did test out the lights, and the lights do work, but I didn't go get an extension cord, and the lights for the tree do not reach 1 foot away, the plug, so I have to get the extension cord from downstairs. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And then hopefully tomorrow I can put up the other tree downstairs. I should have just done it tonight, but I was already late running to go get our food, so I got Alex was gonna DoorDash something because he got like a DoorDash gift card, which I actually think was a really cool idea, that somebody gave him as a Christmas gift, I think it was. And so I think it was a Christmas gift, because he was like, I have a DoorDash gift card if you want, I'm gonna order something. I was like, well, I'm wanting kind of to do Maggiano's. And I was so excited for this Maggiano salad because they have this great salad. And, well, they have 2 salads. I don't know what they have like a chopped salad and like a Maggiano salad, it's called. The Maggiano salad, I always get it as a side salad. Thank you, I appreciate it. I always get it as a side salad. It's been out of focus all this time. Come on, not tonight. There. And then it comes with red onions and lettuce and blue cheese crumbles and the house dressing is really good. And then I add, so it comes with bacon, and I have the bacon taken off of it, and I add avocado. It is such a great salad, you guys. It is so good. You can get it as an entree salad too, and you can add chicken or whatever, right? So I'm just telling you in case you want to do that from Maggiano's. And I think it's pretty reasonably priced. Well, I don't know. A side salad is $6, but it's like a pretty huge side salad. Actually, if you get pasta there, a side salad is like $3.50 or $3 with the pasta. We get garlic bread and stuff, and it's so good. Oh, you also get, if you get the salads, you get like a half a baguette of bread, so you get that as well. And Alex got a Caesar salad with chicken. So anyway, I was so excited about the salad, right? And the woman that works at the carryout at Maggiano's is so fantastic, and she remembers me like every single time. I actually told a story on here, I think, about, she was talking about, it's like sewer. I can like smell like sewage or something. What does it smell? Oh, God. It smells like nasty. She is so funny, and she remembers me every time, and she's always telling me stories and stuff like that. And so when I went to go pick up the food, the last time I was there, she wasn't there, and I was like, oh, I hope she didn't quit or something. So when I went there tonight, she was there, and she was so excited to see me, and she was like, oh my God, hey, how are you? And I was like, I was so worried that you quit. She was like, I'm not quitting or whatever. And so we were talking, and she was telling me what she was going to do for Christmas, and I was telling her that I hoped that people were tipping. Everybody, you should tip, even when it's carry out. Make sure you tip, because there's people like that goes into their tips, right? So I said, I hope you're getting lots of tips. And she said, are you kidding me? It's Grinch season. So anyway, so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and whatever. So I left, and because there were other cars out there that she was helping. So I get home, and I'm so excited about the salad. More excited than the pasta, more excited than the bread, more excited than the Dr. Pepper that I stopped to get on the way, and the Coke for Alex. And I pull it out, and there's bacon. I mean, it's not just a little, it's bacon bits, like all spread out through the top of this salad. And I must have had the most disappointed look in my face, because Alex like brushes over, and he's like, well, we can get it off of there and whatever. And it's kind of like, I'm not that it completely freaks me out, but I'm not a vegetarian that likes to like eat something after it's touched meat. So like if cheese is on the same like charcuterie board as like salami or something, and it's right next to each other, I will not eat it. Like I just don't even want to risk, I just don't like it. I don't like that, like that's just, it's my prerogative, whatever. So I was like, babe, you're gonna have to, I said, first of all, the avocado is all like mushed into the bake. I said, and this is what I always do in those situations, right? I'm always just like, forget it. I won't have a salad. It's no big deal. And the last time that we went to Maggiano's, Alex got because he always gets like an entree size Caesar salad with chicken, and they didn't include the chicken on it. And I felt horrible, right? And he was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I was like, I had already changed into my sweat shorts and my t-shirt, and I was like, I want my salad. Like, I was excited about my salad. I want my salad. I'm getting my salad. So I went out to the car, and in my like t-shirt, Birkenstock sandals, and my shorts, but sweat shorts, and I called Maggiano's, and she answered the phone, and I was all like, I'm getting my salad. And she answered the phone, and I was like, hey, I said, I was just up there. I didn't know it was her at first. And I was like, hey, I was just up there, and I said, I picked up a carry-out order. And she goes, is this Peter? And I go, yeah. And she goes, oh, she was like, okay, what's going on? And I said, oh, and I asked her if it was her name, and she said, yeah. And I said, or something, I said something like that. And I said, hey, listen, I said, I got my salad home. It wasn't supposed to have any bacon on it. And she has she's like, oh, and she was so overly apologetic about it. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, hey, listen, mistakes happen. Like my friend says, Tanya, she always says this, if this is the worst thing that happens to me in a day, I have a pretty good life. And so I was like, hey, listen, don't worry about it, you know, whatever. But I do want another salad because I just always kind of am like, whatever. And I said, I'm really hungry for a salad tonight. She's like, I'm going to hook you up. Don't worry about it. Blah, 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 whatever. She goes, just come over. And I said, well, should I wait a while? She goes, no, just come over right now. I know your car and stuff. So I got over there and she came out and she brought me an entree-sized salad with extra dressing, extra bread. Oh my God, she was so fantastic. And she was like, I told them in there. I said, it's not their fault. And she goes, well, whose fault is it then? And I wanted to say, you know, that's right. It is their fault. I mean, it said it on the ticket. But I was like, don't worry about it. Don't give them a hard time. I really appreciate you guys doing this. It means a lot to me. And she was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. She was so sweet. So came home. Alex was so sweet. He waited until I got home to eat. And I say he was sweet because he doesn't always do that, which I don't really care, you know, it's whatever. I mean, when we're watching a TV show, I don't know that it really matters that we're sitting side by side eating, but, so we watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It was so boring tonight. First of all, they're going to draw this Jen Shah thing out the whole season. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Jen Shah, who is one of the characters, one of the cast members of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she and her assistant got arrested because she owns this company, and I don't really understand what they did. They were like, apparently you can buy lists of people. Tanya was trying to explain it to me in the video that we did together. Apparently you can buy lists, like contact lists for people that are like elderly or lower income and things like that. Well, they were kind of like going for like, it wasn't a Ponzi scheme, but it was kind of that, like where they targeted elderly and lower income people, and then they would get them to sign up for something, but it would like auto renew. Do you know what I mean? Like something like that. And I feel like I look through my credit card statements every once in a blue moon because I want to make sure that, well, first of all, there's only one that I ever use. The other ones, I don't have that many credit cards anymore because once we paid off our debt, we said we weren't going to keep them. I have like one for like, you know, auto emergencies, one for travel, and then one that I use for daily stuff. But like, I was like, there was a period where I was like, I wonder if I'm getting like auto renewed for stuff left and right. And I wasn't. I went in there and I looked. But anyway, you know, I think like most people don't go detail by detail all of their credit card statements and know exactly what it is, especially people that like, I don't know. So anyway, it's some kind of fraud is what it is. Okay. And so she got arrested for it. And it's like a federal issue. Well, I don't really love what they are doing with it this season. And you know, like, I feel for some of the situations that she's going through. Like, I really do. Like, I can't even imagine. And some of the issues that they talked about in this week's episode, like, I really was like, if I was Jen Shah, like, I would feel the same way, you know, especially when it came to her family and stuff like that. But then it went into this whole thing about, like, they got her in the diary room, and she, like, called each of the girls, and only Heather responded. And so she's like, you really find out who your true friends are. You know, and yes, I am a believer in innocent until proven guilty, but this does not look great for Jen Shah. And, you know, she's like, you really find out who your true friends are when you're like in desperate, you know, situations like this and nobody returns your call. and Heather was the only one that returned her call. And so then she's like going off to Heather about how nobody's got her back. She's going off to all these people. She's talking about it in the diary room. She's talking about it to Sharif, her husband, about how, you know, she feels all alone and none of these girls are her friends and his family doesn't want to help and stuff like that. And I'm like, how are we once again turning this into a victim situation, okay? It's like, this is like Erika Jayne all over again with Beverly Hills. And I'm not saying that I don't have compassion for these gals. I mean, and you know, somebody asked me today on my Twitter, they said, how do you feel about the fact that Jen Shah's getting a free pass when, I don't know that I love that word free pass, okay? I just don't think that it is applicable to most situations. It's like, unless you completely just write off a situation and ignore it whatsoever. You know, and I got asked this question on my topics video this week. Somebody asked me, they said, why are you not discussing the whole situation with like the Jussie Smollett thing? I am so, like, I know this is not my topics video, but I just have to say about that whole thing, I am so disgusted and so confused, okay, by that whole thing. But he was found guilty in that situation. Do you ever just feel like you watch the news and you just are like baffled by stuff that you're just like, what? I can't even make sense of this. Like, I don't even make sense of this, you know? So, you know, it's not that I don't have compassion, like, for Erika Jayne and her situation, okay? But when Erika Jayne is... It's funny, because if Tanya was sitting in here, she would say, I don't have compassion. I'm sorry, I don't. Not when she's getting on, you know, $10 million planes and, you know, posting sponsored advertisements on Instagram and doing all this kind of stuff, and there are people that her husband screwed over that do not have money to live. No, I don't feel sorry for her. And I guess on that behalf, like, I don't, right? Like, Erika Jayne's like, I've lost everything. I don't know how I'm gonna go on. And it's like, girl, why don't you sell your Louboutins, your Louis Vuitton purses, your Birkins, get rid of your glam squad. I think you'll be just fine. You know, oh, plus you still have an income that you make from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You're gonna be fine. You might have to downsize your life a little bit, but I think you'll be fine, okay? The whole season that she was going through that, what killed me was that Erika Jayne continued to wear hair extensions that she had, like, her, you could tell they were things that her glam squad did that day. I mean, very expensive hair extensions and wigs and things like that. She continued to come dressed to the nines. She continued to do all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, you know, there are people out there that really suffered at the hands of, allegedly, of what your husband did, you know, and she had a real difficult time ever saying she felt sorry for other people. And so anyway, that was that. So now we got Jen Shah on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City crying a river over the fact that nobody's supporting her, when she's been an absolute nasty person to every woman on that show. And now that she's in the hot seat, she wonders why these women that she's been nasty to are not supporting her. And I'm like, girl, come on. Like, that is not how the real world works. I'm sorry, you know? And I will say this, what's interesting is that a lot of these women are like, they don't feel comfortable being around her because they don't know about the legal allegations and stuff like that. And that was the same issue as on Housewives, or Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where Sutton Strack was like, I don't know that I want to be around Erika. Like, are we then part of this? And they all went off and told Erika, and Erika was like, yelled at Sutton and all this kind of stuff. They all said the same thing on this one. They said the same thing on Salt Lake City, and they all agreed with each other. They're like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be hanging around her. So anyway, it was boring this week. And then Lisa Barlow, she's of course the victim of the world and whatever. I shouldn't say that, since Lisa Barlow sent me a direct message on Instagram. Well, I posted this thing on this is my new thing, okay, just to be honest. Let's just own it, right? Is that I thirst trap these Real Housewives, okay? Like, I want to be friends with some of them because they are just funny and stuff to me. So my favorites, I always, like, tweet out and whatever. And I was really liking Lisa Barlow that week. I kind of go back and forth with her. It's so hard. Like, first of all, she was on Watch What Happens Live right afterwards, and she looked so good. She had this really hot outfit on. But she, like, went back and forth, like, with what she was saying on the show. It's like, there's this part of this episode where Jen Shaw's assistant steals a clutch from Meredith's store. You see the video. You see him go in and he's like hanging out and he takes his clutch and puts it on his arm and just walks out, okay? And had to come back and apologize for it and bring the clutch back. And, oh, there was a deer just standing right off to there. And so Andy asked her about it on the show, and Lisa's like, I don't know that he stole it. And Jeff Lewis, who was the other guest on the show, I'm not a big fan of Jeff Lewis, which is so funny because people are always like, oh my God, you remind me of Jeff Lewis. And I'm like, how do I remind you of Jeff Lewis? I don't even know that I like that comment. But anyway, he is always complaining, and oh my God, and you want to talk about somebody that is so defensive of him is my husband. Because he has a show, you know, the flipping out Jeff Lewis guy, right? The interior designer guy that used to, okay. Anyway, he and his partner went through a divorce or whatever, a breakup, and they have this baby that's now, like, she's older now, like 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that. He has this talk show on Radio Andy that all he does is complain about this ex. That's all he does, is complain about the ex and the pickup dates for his daughter and what his ex is always out of town. And I mean, to be honest with you, I think it is so unbelievably tacky that that's all he's doing is discussing his relationship issues and his issues with co-parenting his daughter online. And it's like these people that he has on there, these experts, they always just agree with him and co-sign all of his BS. And I'm like, I'm not sure what I think about this for your daughter to be able to hear years later about her dad's fighting, but whatever. I don't love that because even though my parents did not like each other, they never, I mean, there's only like a few incidences, and the ones that I remember, like, it didn't happen on a regular basis that my parents ever raised their voices at each other. And one of the only times that I really do remember is when I was older, like much older. And my parents co-parented very, very well. And I feel like it's such a blessing, you know. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's such a blessing. So then Lisa Barlow said, yeah, I don't think that he stole it. And Jeff Lewis goes, really? I mean, he and Andy Cohen were both looking at him like, really? And she goes, what? And he goes, Jeff Lewis was like, you could see that he stole it. He goes, if you go into a store and you take something without paying for it, and it's called stealing. And she goes, oh, I guess you're right. And Andy Cohen was like looking at her, like side-eyeing her, like, are you an idiot? And it went into this thing about her vodka brand. So anyway, about how she always carries a bottle of this vodka around with her. And she's like, I just love it because I think it's the best vodka. Anyway. So that was Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And then it showed also that Mary is a complete hoarder because she is having her bedroom / closet, which is basically a bed in the middle of this room, and the rest of the room is all just like unbelievably expensive designer clothes, like hanging on racks, hanging off of chairs, hats on mannequins, which are super weird. Mary is kind of weird. Mary is weird. She isn't kind of weird, she is weird. She says to this organizer comes over and she goes, just take something if you want it. Oh, God. I was listening to Michelle Collins' show this morning and she was talking about it, and she said, Michelle Collins' show is on Radio Andy and it's hilarious. So Radio Andy's on Sirius Radio, if you wondered. I could care less about Radio Andy until about 3 weeks ago, and now my husband has me completely hooked on it. And I love these radio shows. I don't know why. I'm just kind of like weirdly obsessed with it. And I want to be like a radio show host. That's like my goal now, because I think it would be so much fun. But Michelle Collins was like going off on Mary. And then her one of the girls that she has like on her staff said, well, did you hear Mary say to the organizer, just take whatever you want? And Michelle goes, maybe I shouldn't be giving her such a hard time. Maybe I should be trying to befriend her so I get an invitation to her house. She just talked about this this outlet mall that she went to in Italy, because Michelle Collins is in Italy right now, and she went on and on about this outlet mall and these Ferragamo boots that she got in this Gucci bag and stuff, and she goes, Mary's the outlet mall that I need to go to that I didn't even know. Maybe I need to try to get an what do you call it, an invite over to her house. Anyway, why am I talking about this so long? I don't know. This is like real talk with Peter. Like, this is what Tanya and I talk about. Oh my God, I got to talk to Tanya Jean tonight. I was so excited. Did I tell you guys that Tanya Jean was on vacation? Tanya Jean was on vacation. Tanya Jean is like forever on vacation. Oh yeah, I did, because I said I was going to stop by and see Nick, which I didn't end up doing. Okay, sorry, it stopped. I'm sorry. I don't ever say that. It stopped. Anyway, and I am sorry. Tanya's son Nick and his girlfriend, they dog sat for Tanya. And I know you guys are like, so her son dog sits for her, and she owns a kennel. So Tanya has 2 dogs, and one of them is a Mastiff, and she doesn't take him to the kennel. I mean, rarely she does, like if he needs to be groomed and stuff like that, but rarely she takes him to the kennel. He's so big, and he's an older Mastiff. He's like, I think he's been in some of my videos. He's like 3.5 feet tall, 3 feet tall. He's a big boy, and he thinks he's like this little puppy inside. He's so sweet. So he's such a homebody. Like, he just knows that area. He's really not ever been outside of there a whole lot. So yeah, so Tanya, and then her other dog, she doesn't, like, she takes to work with her every day, but she comes home with her at night. And so she just has Nick and his girlfriend always just like dog sit for her while she's out of town. And so then he could bring over his dog, and the 3 of them can play. Tanya got Nick a dog. How old is she now? Probably 5. And Tanya got this dog, and she was so excited about it. And it is a golden lab. It's beautiful. And so at the time, I don't know how many years ago it would have been, but at the time, Nick had just got out of the Marines. And it was before he was going to college in Florida. And Tanya had just got this puppy. And so Nick was staying at their house with them because it was like the 6-week interim between, and he was like working at the kennel with them and stuff like that. So this dog totally bonded to Nick. And so when he went to go to school in Florida, Tanya was like, I mean, it's Nick's dog now, you know? And she was like, and she was so sad to let him go, but she did. So now that's Nick's dog, and he takes it with him everywhere, like in his truck and everything. Nick and I actually drive the exact same car. Year, color, everything. Isn't that crazy? Nick's kind of like the nephew that well, now I have 2 nephews, but that I never had before, and he always calls me Uncle Pete. He calls me Uncle Pete, actually. He's so funny, and, you know, I feel so blessed to have, like, he grew up, how old was he? So he just turned, okay, so he was 4 when I met Tanya, you know, and, he grew up with, you know, me being around, and his mom and I getting fountain pops, and me over there watching TV and having family dinners with them and stuff like that, and Tanya just included me all in that, you know, and I can remember, you know, like, Tanya, I'd be like, do you want to go get a fountain Coke? And she'd be like, no, it's Algebra 9, I gotta do, you know, algebra with Nick and stuff, and I'm so proud of Tanya and Eric and how they raised him, and he is such a fantastic young man, and, you know, Marine, stationed in Okinawa, and, double major, graduated, philosophy and political science, graduated straight A's, and internship in Washington, D.C., just a really, really neat guy, and really a kind-hearted soul. I love seeing him with his girlfriend because he treats her with such kindness, you know, and they're such good friends too, and it's just really cool to see. And you know, and having been there for like some of the situations, which are personal, so I'm not going to get into, but some of those parenting situations that I think when your kids are growing up, you don't really know what to do or what to say in those situations, you know. And I can remember just like Tanya telling me how they handled it, and I just was like, God, I just was blown away. And you know, Tanya and Eric just handled things like almost effortlessly. And I've said that to her, and she's like, it wasn't effortlessly at all. She was like, I was scared to death as a parent that everything that we were doing or saying was going to be wrong, you know. She's like, but you do your best. And I remember my mom saying that, you know, my mom saying, you know, what parent out there, I mean, I feel like I know quite a few today, but what parent wouldn't read the book, How to Have the Perfect Child, pages 1 through 100? What parent wouldn't read every single page of that book? My mom even said that to a counselor one time, you know, if that book existed, and do everything it says, but there's no such book. You do your best as a parent, right? Like some counselor one time was coming down hard on my mom, and my mom said, you think we wouldn't do everything we possibly could if we could? Which, I mean, at the time, you know, the thing that's interesting is I went to all these counselors, and my mom's drinking came up quite a bit. I don't remember any counselor, and maybe it happened when I wasn't in the room, but I will tell you this, it would have been a lot more helpful if it had happened when I was in the room, because I would have felt supported by the counselor. I don't ever remember a counselor telling my mother she needed to stop drinking or look at her drinking. I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not remembering it right tonight. I don't know. I love this tree right here. I'm like really into like the old school, like multicolored Christmas lights. I think they're so pretty. I don't know why this year I am, but you know, I wish that I would have had a counselor that would have stood up for me at some point and said that. They're not selling a lot of Christmas trees here at the Christmas tree farm. We got up about the same amount of Christmas trees they have. Christmas tree farm, it's a Christmas tree area. I wanted to finish that Christmas book that I'm reading. That book, When Christmas Comes. It's the book for Peter's book club for this month. Is anybody else out there reading it with me? It's a very interesting book. I don't really know what to make of it yet. So it's about this guy. Okay, so it starts right off with the murder. This woman that's a librarian at this elementary school gets murdered by her boyfriend that's an ex-Army Ranger. Like, decorated Army Ranger. And that's so pretty. They have all these lights all the way down their white picket fence. It's so beautiful. And so, like, people are really having a hard time accepting it in this town, in this very conservative, small town. But right away, okay, so they call in this guy who's not a detective, but, like, apparently, I'm kind of wondering if this is part of a series, maybe, or something, except it goes into so much history with him that it just kind of feels like it's not. So it's about this guy, and he's probably, like, my age, and he's kind of, like, helped solve some situations in the past. Some kidnapping he helped solve. So this attorney calls him in, the attorney for the guy. The guy's already been sentenced because he pled guilty. So she's trying to find some extenuating facts that could maybe get the judge to lessen the sentence, because his sentencing hearing is coming up. And so she asks this guy to, like, come up with some extenuating circumstances that he can find. So she kind of hires him or asks him to come in. I think she just asks him to come in and look into this case. Well, first off, what they find is that this woman never really existed. Like, her name, where she went to school, and all of that stuff. Like, this isn't ruining it for you. This is pretty much at the beginning of the book. Like, they can't find her, any record of her. So that's part of the book. I haven't found out a whole lot about that yet. And then the guy that's telling the book has this really, like, kind of weird history. And he grew up really rich, but he spent Christmases with his mom's maid's family while his mom and dad went to Europe every summer or every Christmas, or went somewhere every Christmas. And he fell in love with the daughter of his family that he would stay with. But then you don't really know if it's real when he's telling the story. Like, you can't really tell because he's telling it to a therapist. And she's like, are you telling me that story to really tell me the real story? And he's like, what are you talking about? And all this weird stuff happens. So you don't, like, his background story is coming into it too. I feel like there's going to be some really weird, unexpected reveal at the end of this book. But I have to tell you, it is really good. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, Mare of Easttown meets, like, a Christmas movie. It's very good. Which I haven't watched really that many Christmas movies. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I need to make a list of 10 movies that I definitely want to see. I think I'll be fine with 10 Christmas movies and watch them, or just have them on in the background for the next 10 days. Tomorrow night, I am going... Well, anyway, so to finish that up. So that is my book for Peter's Book Club for the month of December. When I finished that, I think I had like this short novella by Rainbow Rowell, and I think it's a Christmas one, so I think I'm going to read that next, and then I'm going to get into another Christmas cozy. Oh, the Jacqueline Frost book came out today. Oh my god, okay, that's what I think it came out today, the Jacqueline Frost book, which is the third book in the Christmas Tree Farm mystery series. So I've been waiting like forever for this book to come out. Well, a year at least. I listened to it last year. The first 2 books. They're fantastic. If you haven't, like, this is a really great cozy mystery series. It's the Christmas Tree Farm Mysteries. It was so funny because I was like, I got real defensive of her because I was reading the reviews of the second book on Audible, and someone said, this is an exact copy of the first book. Why did we even need it? And I was like, exactly. And that's what cozy mystery series are. They're like the same book over and over and over again. So if you love the first one, you know you're going to love the whole series. If you didn't like the first one, there's no point in continuing to read the series. It's basically just the same series over and over and over again. And I love the series. It's actually one of the only cozy mystery series that's actually kind of terrifying, because the main character gets followed, and it's very good. So anyway, so that's my reading plan. Tomorrow night I have my I thought this was a flashing light. Tomorrow night I have my home group meeting with Tanya Jean, and try to pick her up a little bit early, and we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna take our friend home afterwards. And Friday is my sobriety birthday. I was standing outside. I took the dogs out to go potty before I got them snuggled back into bed before I left. Have you guys seen these little things? I love these, okay? So do you see these little igloos? These are where you can sit outside. Do you see? In the cold, in restaurants. Is that not such a cool concept? They did that during the, like during COVID too. I love that. Yeah, I was standing outside with the dogs when I took them out to potty, and I was like, this is really weird to me. Like, I'm literally 3 days away from my sobriety date. And what's weird about it is that, so the 17th is my sobriety day. Like, that's my first day sober. But I always get this wrong. The 16th would have been my last day using. So the 17th was my first day sober. No, turn on red. Not that it matters, because there's nobody coming. But I think I tried to figure this out one night to see what night of the week it was, because I used to always think it was on a Sunday. Here, I'm going to pull into this little parking space right here, because I used to always think it was on a Sunday. And then somebody looked it up and they said, and then I remembered, this guy's like walking right towards my car. This is rather spooky. Okay. He's probably thinking this guy just parked his car and is now looking at me. December 17th, 1994. What day was it? So yeah, it was a Saturday. Okay, so that's what I thought, because when people have looked it up and commented in the past on here, I think this guy was out just like for a morning a morning stroll to get the newspaper and some coffee, and because he had like earmuffs and everything on. It was like an older gentleman. He probably was like, what is this man doing pulling over here? Anyway, that Friday, I think, because I went to the Vogue, which actually is right over there. And I went to, I thought it was at the Vogue because they used to have this gay party there on Sunday nights called Boing, which is why I thought forever it was a Sunday night. But I think I was there for a pageant. I think there was like some Miss Gay Indiana pageant or something like that I'm sure there's some way I could find out and look into it. But I think there was a pageant that Friday night, or there was like a Christmas party or something that they were doing. It was some gay themed something that they were doing there that Friday night. And because I was there for that, and I can remember I was with my friend, and that was my friend that I went to kindergarten, elementary, high school, college, and graduate school. She and I were at that thing together, and she ended up introducing me that night to this guy that I didn't remember meeting. That was like total catch, good looking, looks like Ben Affleck, still looks like Ben Affleck to this day because we're friends on Facebook, and was like an attorney and was so good looking and stuff. And apparently I met him that night, and this guy that I had broken up with couldn't be bothered to be worried about me at all. But this guy kept on calling my friend and asking him all through the whole time I was in treatment, how's Peter doing? How's Peter doing? And I was like completely smitten with that. So he became my boyfriend as soon as I got out of treatment. And I don't recommend that at all. Like, not one bit. Because that relationship did not end well. And I had a real effing attitude when it ended. He lived in Champaign at the time, and I would drive back and forth. And, I drove over there the last time. That's what happened. And I borrowed my friend's car. And, it just was like a real bad situation. I mean, it was nothing bad on his part. We just got into it. He was keeping secrets. That's what it was. He was keeping secrets over there that I was not aware of over here. And I can remember, I just was like, I went off. Like, he hated like cigarette smoking, and he hated like me listening to like Bob Dylan and all that kind of stuff. And I remember I got in that car and he was standing like out on the front porch, like he was really upset because I was like, what are you telling me? He was seeing other people. I was not aware of that. I thought we were exclusive, okay? And I've always been very serious about the exclusivity thing. And he was like, well, I didn't want you to find out this way. And I said, you told me that we were exclusive. And he was like, but it's not like you knew anyway. And I'm like, what? Are you telling me? And then he didn't identify to me as bisexual. He identified to me as gay. He told me that. And he was seeing a woman there. And it was like supposedly kind of like to help his business out a little bit. And then I felt like this dirty secret. And I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm done with this. I've told the stories too about like he went on this trip, and I don't know when that was. That was later or something. This guy, you know, have you ever seen somebody that looks so good on paper, but they got a lot of issues? Like, okay. But so anyway, that is a whole video. I could talk stories. I mean, that story goes on for years. I looked him up later and made amends to him. I had to look him up and mail letters to where he lives now because there was like 2 of them. And anyway, that's a whole other story. He lives in Chicago now. It's a whole other story, but we're fine. We're totally fine today. I mean, it's been, what, 27 years? It's been 27 years. But, like, then he came, like, we broke up, and then, like, summer, he came, like, after I had broken up with this, like, well, I hadn't broken up with this guy, and I broke up Todd that passed away recently, well, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So he came down to visit me for a weekend, and I thought we were, like, rekindling things. And he was like, let's play tennis. And I was like, okay. So there he was in his like tennis whites, like so cute, and these tennis shorts and this tennis I mean, he looked so cute. And so I'll never forget, we were out there and he was like, so what are we playing for? I can just see him in my head. He's like bouncing this ball. And I was like, what do you mean? What are we playing for? And he goes, I gotcha. He was like, let's play threesome. Winner gets to pick the person we have a threesome with. And I was like, what? I was so done. I just walked off. I was just done. And you know what? I know, like, looking back, and this is where I do have some integrity with situations like this. Like, I know looking back, like, I could have kept him. I could have made that relationship work. I could be living in a high rise and having this, you know, unbelievably amazing financial life that he has today. But at the expense of having to swallow my pride and accept that BS and accept a lot of what would have gone along with that, you know? And I'm not okay with that. I'm just, you know, I'm not saying that people can't change and you can't work on things and all that kind of stuff, but like, I kind of think he's still like that today. I've heard some stories, so. But anyway, but you know what? He taught me when I got out of treatment that I was lovable, and I'm very thankful that he was there, and we had some very romantic nights, and in fact, I have to say that this green plaid comforter that I recently bought, he had a green and blue plaid comforter, and I remember it all these years later because I would go visit him, and he shared an apartment with this gal. It wasn't the one that he was like screwing around with, but I don't even think they were screwing around. I think he was just dating her or something like that, which to me even seemed more like you're going on dates with this girl. I don't know, but anyway, so he shared this apartment, and so I would get there, you know, and he would be like watching TV show or a movie or something, and like the living room would be dark, and he'd be in like some roll neck I always remember him. Do you ever like have memories of people and you always have them like in one outfit? Like I have memories of him in this like roll neck like Abercrombie or J. Crew. He always wore a lot of J. Crew. He wore like, this is what he wore: J. Crew roll neck sweaters with like green, or did I have a green one? Or do I still have a green one somewhere, I'm sure. Green or gray, black. Oh, black. He had a black roll neck sweater from J. Crew. Jeans, and then he wore like black Doc Martens. And he had dark curly hair. I've always loved dark curly hair on people. That's why like I begged my husband to wear his hair out longer. Oh my God, my husband, when his hair is wet and curly, I think it is the sexiest thing in the world. So, but anyway, like I would go over there and he would have candles lit, and his whole house, I remember, smelled so good. And then his bedroom was just like a regular bedroom, but it was like, you know, because he shared it with this woman that he worked with or something. And so he would have like, I can remember the bedroom smelling like pine because of these candles. And then he had this like green and blue comforter, and I just remember it being like so cozy. I just remember being able to sleep so well in that bed. Just so weird that it's been so long. I mean, we only dated for like 2 months, and it's so weird that I remember all of that, but yeah. So that was that. I've always loved plaid. I've always loved green plaid. I've always loved the red tartan plaid. Oh my God, do you know what my husband got? Because I've totally got him switched over to the red tartan plaid. Do you know what he bought? He ordered online all of our wrapping presents for our presents this year, and he bought rolls of red tartan plaid wrapping paper for us to use. And then had the audacity to look at me tonight and say, well, what wrapping paper are you going to use? I said, excuse me. What do you mean? I will be using your red tartan plaid wrapping paper is what I will be doing. But I actually think that I might get online and order some red and white polka dot wrapping paper, because I think it would look really cute next to the tartan plaid. Not that it's going to matter, because our presents are going to be out there next to each other for like 2 days. Even though they've never done this, I'm afraid to have the presents out there like under the tree for long, because I'm afraid that Boo and Tucker will like get into them, or like pee on them or something like that. Even though they don't pee in the house, they've never, you know, like peed on something like that. I don't know why, I have that fear. Did you guys ever have like the weird? Oh my God, the Cozy Christmas Contest is up over on the Vloggerinos. I posted that today. It runs through next Monday. Troy and I will be judging it. So please go participate. Yeah, and I'm real excited about that. I was kind of blown away. The winner gets, I just went off based on what the suggestions were. The winner gets, I think I'm going to do like a gift card and like a FaceTime call. Kind of like a cameo, but I'll actually be talking, you know, to you. And then, I don't know what I'm doing for second and third place yet. But, what was I going to say? I just had a thought and then I forgot it. I totally forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. Oh well. I'll remember it tomorrow. Or later. I'll remember it tomorrow. I'll remember it in a couple minutes. You know what? My friend back in the day used to say, wiggle your toes and it sets off neurons in your brain and then you'll remember something. So of course I'm wiggling my toes right now and I'm not remembering anything. Look, all the workers are going into Crumble Cookies. I went to Crumble Cookies today to do a review and they didn't have one of the cookies and I was really upset. No, like seriously I was, because I was so excited. It was the turtle cookie. What was I gonna say that I was talking about the Cozy Christmas. It was something to do with the Vloggerinos. Oh, I know. See, it worked. That's why I kind of stopped talking for a second, because I was like, okay, what was I going to say? I'm going to remember it. Can I just tell you, it makes me so sad that Fleming's is gone. I mean, I don't eat steak anymore, but my aunt and uncle and Caroline and Mike and David and Alex and I used to always go there for Christmas Eve. I loved it so much. Oh, what I was going to say. I was kind of blown away by the fact that I went to the Vloggerinos and there's like 751 members now. Which is kind of crazy to me. I mean, it's really an honor. I appreciate it. But I was like, oh my God, there's so many people in this group. I joined the Schitt's Creek fan group tonight because Alex sent me a picture from there and I couldn't see it. So I joined the group. It's a private group. So you have to join it if you want to be part of the Schitt's Creek group. I love Schitt's Creek. I was actually going to start watching it again tonight. But... do you guys want to hear something so funny? Okay, does this ever happen to you? So, years and years ago, there was this special, and it was called, there's two different ones, okay? There's one that takes place in Indiana, and I feel like it's like a movie, or like a couple episode documentary, I can't remember, and it's called, I think, American High School, or something like that. I've talked about this on here before. Do you guys remember? And it took place like in upstate Indiana, and like the cover of it looked like a Breakfast Club. And I think one of the reasons why I love these kind of shows is because I really missed out on this high school experience like this. And so like I kind of like watching those shows. But anyway, I watched that one years ago. Like, just to put it in perspective, the people that are in it in both of these shows that I'm going to talk about are like five plus years younger than me now. Okay, they're like 5-10 years younger than me. Not 10 years even. So anyway, so the other one is this show called American High, and I think it was with PBS. And so something about the other day got me. I was thinking about this. They do this dance-off thing. It's like this, once a year they do this like dance thing where all these different groups choreograph these dances, and then they have like a talent show kind of thing. And for some reason, I remembered that this one guy on there, it was like the gay guy. His name's Brad, and he, I remember that he choreographed this dance, and this is how I remember. I was like driving down the street. Do you ever do this? And like some song pops in your head from like 20 years ago. I mean, to be honest with you guys, like this show came out in like 2000. I mean, it's like 21 years old, okay? And so I was sitting there. I guess I'd be like my husband's age, maybe a little bit older than my husband. And so I'm sitting there, and because it came out in like 2000 and something, and then it was like it had been filmed like a couple years before that. So anyway, I'm driving down the street, and all of a sudden I'm like singing to myself, and I go, "This is how you'll drum or drums." And I was like, what? And that's the song that his group dances to in that show. And I don't know where that came from, okay? So I start looking up this show. Well, the show has like 8 characters they followed, and at the end of each episode, you can watch it online for free. It's called American High, okay? And it's on Daily Motion or something like that. I think there's only like, they only got 6 or 8 episodes instead of, there's like 13 or 14 total episodes, or 12 episodes, I don't know how many episodes, 12 to 15 episodes, somewhere in there. So, I'm watching this, and I'm like, each character that comes on there, okay, like, there's this girl that's like a musician, and she was gonna be this like coffee house musician, and then there's this guy that's like a lacrosse and football player, and he's got a girlfriend, and she's like afraid that they're gonna break up because he's going away to college next year, and then he gets into like the University of Colorado Boulder and all this kind of stuff. So, okay, and then there's the gay character, and then there's this girl that like, she just wants to make her dad proud, and so, and she wants to be like an opera singer and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm like watching this. Okay, when I watch movies, I literally Google all the actors. So it's like, I could tell you the most, oh my God, Krispy Kreme. It stopped while I was going off about Krispy Kreme. That Krispy Kreme Donuts now has the lights outside, like on the side of the building. It looks very nice. I think that's where the Krispy Kreme is gonna be. But anyway, when I'm like watching TV shows and movies and stuff, like I'll sit there and Google the cast, which I can tell you literally the most worthless nonsense that you would never want to know about cast members of movies. I don't know why this is so crazy, you guys. I am at an hour and this battery is still going strong. It's not even at the halfway mark. Is that not so crazy? This must be the good battery. So anyway, I can tell you the most worthless information about cast members of TV shows that I watch and movies and on and on and on, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like watching this show and I'm like, I wonder if there's a way to find out what happened to these people. Well, with my good drama channel investigative skills, I basically found every member of this cast and where they are at today. And you know, it was really an interesting sentiment of what happened. First of all, the reason the one character that plays the football and lacrosse player, I can't remember what his name is on the show, Robbie, his name's Robbie. He looks a lot like my boyfriend that I dated straight out of treatment. And he also lives in Chicago, and he's also very successful. And so anyway, he ended up going to the University of Colorado, and he was like scared of his future and what he was going to be. The guy that's like the out gay character on there, his name's Brad. He was like wanted to be an artist. He like talked about how art was cathartic for him. He's like an interior designer now, like extremely successful artist. Okay, had all these articles written about him. The one girl that wanted to be an opera singer married an opera singer and traveled all over the country with him, and like teaches at a school. It was like so interesting to me. Like this girl that wanted to be this coffee house singer is a coffee house singer in San Francisco. And what was so crazy to me about it was that when they were talking about like how they picked the kids for the show, they were saying that they picked the kids that like really kind of like knew, like they were so vulnerable and raw, and like they knew what they wanted out of life and stuff. And I thought, you know, isn't it crazy to think that all of these kids in the end got what they wanted, you know? And I really like that. I think that's really cool, you know, that, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of all of their lives, but from like a career point of view or a life point of view, it seems to be that the majority of them like ended up, you know, even this one kid, like who's like the main, I can't remember what his name is, Morgan. He's like the kid that's like getting into trouble all the time. His grades are horrible. He's like, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of attitude. But he has kind of a, like, there's a sweet part of it on there because he helps kids that are developmentally disabled. And so he's like talking in there about how much he loves doing that and on and on and on and stuff. But like even he like ended up like in this great relationship, and he's married, and he has all these happy pictures up there and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know, it's kind of cool to see what happens. I wish those shows would do, like those reality shows would do a follow-up like 20 years later, you know, stuff like that. By the way, I still need to watch The Real World Reunion. They kind of got into it, and you know, like I wanted to see how that all turned out. It's weird to think how long ago that was. 30 years ago? I watched that show religiously. My friends and I both did, or my friends and I all did. Like at my apartment, we would watch it. With Julie and Eric Neese and Heather and Kevin and all. It was such a good show. It's weird to think how much the world has changed in 27, 30 years, you know, since I graduated from high school. Coming out this summer will be 32 years that I graduated from high school. That's crazy, isn't it? I guess we're not having our 30-year reunion. They kind of tried to reschedule it, and then it just didn't happen. And so I guess we're not doing it now. I don't know. 35 maybe? I can feel myself getting emotional. I don't know that I really want to talk about this. Something happened to me in the last 2 years. I'm not really sure what it is. I don't know that I have the need to go to my high school reunion anymore. You know? I don't know what happened with it. I really don't. I kind of like, as much as I tell stories about being bullied and stuff like that, like I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, yeah, right, Peter. But like, I feel like I really came, like I'm getting emotional about it because it just like was such a cathartic process that happened for me. And it was doing inventory on a lot of it. And it was going to counseling and talking and counseling about a lot of it. But I kind of came to this resolution, I think, only probably in the last year of just thinking about this stuff, you know, from time to time. That what happened in my high school years happened. I can't change it. It is what it is. And I feel like I've heard from enough people words of compassion and kindness and apologies. I've made friends with people that I went to high school with. But it was 30 years ago. I'm not there anymore. I don't want to be there anymore. You know, I don't know that I have the desire to go back and relive that. I think there was a point for me where it was very Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion where I wanted to show them that they hadn't beat me. And I don't think I have that need in me anymore. I don't think I have that desire to show anybody they didn't beat me. I don't think I owe that to anybody. I don't even think I owe that to myself, because I know that to be true, right? I don't even think it's they didn't beat me. I think it's wow, I learned a lot. Look at the growth since I was in high school. I'm not that scared, timid kid that I was back then anymore, you know? I'm sure of myself today. I'm proud of who I am today. I'm, you know, proud of the married gay man that I am today, and that's in recovery, and that considers himself all of these different things and has all these different interests, you know? I'm proud of that person today. I couldn't have said that back then. So it's partly that I don't really have this need. And I think I also got that at my 20 year. I really did, you know, to show them that they didn't beat me. But the other part of it is, I mean, every once in a while, I'll fall down like the rabbit hole on Facebook and be like, oh my God, what happened to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is, with the exception of maybe a given few, I don't really have, I mean, I don't, it has been so long since I've interacted with some of these people that like, and I wasn't that great of friends with, but the 5 or 6 people. I mean, really, a lot of people didn't even talk to me in high school at all, you know? So I'm not really sure that I need to go back and relive that. You know, I will tell you the last reunion that they had, it was very small, and I do know that there was like 50 people there, and I would say that out of that 50, there were probably 30 that I had gone to elementary, junior high, high school, and college with, and there were a lot of people in there that were very kind to me and were very nice. And like one of my best friends from high school, she went, and you know, that was when I didn't go because of the pageant, and she was like, because it was my birthday weekend, and I went and judged a pageant in St. Louis, and that was so much fun. That was a weekend. And, you know, she was like, people are so sad that you're not here, and they really want to see you, and they really want to see, like, you know, like, have conversations with you. And so I might go for that reason, but I just don't really have the interest that I used to have about it. I really don't. It's not like something today, like I felt really driven for a long time, like I have to go to my reunion, like this is something. And I can remember for my 20, like I wanted to go, but I was terrified to go at the same time. And like I went and picked up my friend and she came back to our house. She was going with us. And so, and I was like, I don't know, should we just cancel and not go? And she was like, no, we're doing this. Like, you wanted to do this, we're doing, because we had bought tickets and stuff. And she was like, we're doing this. And so, and I got into the 10-year with my other friend, but I don't know, maybe my mind will change, you know, maybe in a month I'll say, like, I can't wait for our reunion. And I feel like people got kind of lazy with the lights this year, honestly. Sometimes they're either like so well done, or I feel like they just took lights and went, threw them on there and walked away on the Christmas lights. I don't know, you know, maybe a month from now I'll feel completely different about it. I think at this point in my life right now, I'm feeling, maybe my focus is more on my sobriety because my sobriety date is coming up, but I feel like I have forgiven those people. I don't even think they have thought about me in the majority of the 30 years since high school, 32 years since high school. And I think I've given them way too much attention in my mind and let them rent space for free. I think the people that I got along with, there are a few people that I keep up with, there are a few people that I watch their lives on Facebook. There's still a few that I talk to every once in a blue moon. Other than that, it's like today, you know, on Tuesday, December 14th, I don't, you know, it's funny that I'm saying this on the heels of me just talking about that TV show and saying that I wanted to see where people were down the road, because wouldn't that be the idea behind a reunion? I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, I don't really know how to say it. It's this feeling of, for so long, I felt so driven, like, you better bet your ASS I'm gonna be at that reunion, okay? I'm gonna be at that reunion. And then it was like, something happened, and then there was a period where I almost kind of got scared about it, and I was like, well, I don't want to go to a reunion. Just hear my Southern come out there a little bit, that was funny. And now I'm kind of like, I had this period of acceptance where I was just like, if I see them again, I see them again. If I don't, I don't. And it's not going to make or break my life. It just is, you know? I think if our reunion came up and it was convenient for me to go that weekend, I probably would go, you know? If it wasn't, I don't think I have the need to, like, rearrange the moon in the sky to go. What is going on over here? Oh, it's a trash truck. It was right by my friend's house, and I was like, I thought it was an ambulance. I was like, what is going on? It's so funny when, like, people hold me to things that I say. Like, they'll say, well, you said in such and such vlog that you didn't want to go to your reunion, right? But, like, I might get off from vlogging and, like, you know, turn on a book, and the guy might be talking about some high school reunion, and I might think to myself, I guess I kind of like to go to my high school reunion. And literally 3 minutes later, my whole opinion's changed, you know? And it's like, it's so funny being on the internet because people won't let you change your mind. Like, if you say it, you better make a commitment to it for life, right? And it's like, that's just not how the real world works. Like, I can change my mind when, I mean, Tanya always says that. She's like, I can change my mind whenever I want. I'm a human being, you know? Speaking of which, December 13th in history of high school, I got into 2 car accidents 2 years in a row on December 13th. Isn't that crazy? It was my junior and senior year. And the one was when I totaled the car out there. That was like the really bad one. I don't really remember much about the other one, but I can always remember that I thought it was either December 13th or December 14th. I think it was December 13th though, because I was always like super apprehensive about December 13th, because I was like, I cannot believe this battery is still going strong, you guys, and I am at an hour and almost 14 minutes. I can't believe this. I mean, it's not even halfway through the battery yet. I could probably talk for 2 hours, but I'm not going to tonight. But I can always remember that I was like super scared to drive on those days. I'd be like this. Which is so weird to think. I can see the weather then, and like in my mind, I don't know why I just thought of this. And I mean, it was literally snow everywhere, black ice on the roads, ice in the trees. It was everywhere, right? That is so crazy to me when I look back and I think about that. And I think about like our weather now, which is no snow. Makes me sad. Oh, it just went to the halfway mark. It makes me sad because I would like to have snow at Christmas, and I don't think we're gonna have it this year, which is okay, but it still makes me sad. Do 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 do. Do you like that song from The Grinch? I like that song. Where are you, Christmas? Is that Faith Hill? Do you like Faith Hill? I like Faith Hill. She and Tim McGraw seem real wholesome to me. I like country music. I like that whole world of country music. I actually tonight, well, I have it on the station right now. It's playing Carrie Underwood, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. I just was like, okay, I haven't programmed all of my Sirius radio channels to Christmas, so I changed it to, okay, I now have, these are my radio stations. Number 1, Chill, 53, I think. Yeah. And it's playing Drama, Don't Hold Back right now, which is like chill lounge kind of. Okay, so that was so weird. So I'm literally telling this story about my radio stations, and all of a sudden the battery just goes beep, 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 and stops, and the camera closed off. And so my battery went to the halfway mark. I mean, I was looking at it, and it was like a full battery. It went to the, can I turn around? There's no turnaround on this street. Oh, here, it's a cul-de-sac. The battery literally, like, went to the halfway mark, and then what? Like, because I told you when it happened, and then, like, 30 seconds later just died on me. That is so weird. So, anyway, what I was saying was, here are my radio stations, and then I'll get off here in a second. Number 1 is Chill. Number 2 is Radio Classics, which I love. Right now, Vintage Ad, American Meat Institute. Okay, but I love to listen to old-time radio shows. Number 3 is Holly, and they're not playing any song right now. Okay, number 4 is Holiday Traditions. Holiday Traditions. That's my favorite station right there. And that's the ad that goes, Holiday Traditions. I like Holiday. I like Holly too. It's Ingrid Michaelson, All I Want for Christmas. Oh, I wonder how that sounds. I love her so much. Ingrid Michaelson, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be like, I'm thinking of something else. She the one that sings You and I, that song? I think so. That was our wedding song that we walked down to. Okay, so Holiday is Nat King Cole, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Oh, just put my car in neutral. And then I have Radio Andy, and Holiday Hangout is on right now. And then I have Hallmark Christmas, Brenda Lee, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. And then I have Country Christmas, which is playing, it says just Merry Country Christmas right now. I don't know what that means, but anyway. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, those are my radio stations. And you can Google, I love the Google so much. I don't even know what I would do without the Google, okay? I just tweeted that out the other day. I'm like, I don't know what my life would be like without the Google. But anyway, you can Google Sirius Radio Stations 2021 or Sirius Christmas Radio Stations 2021, and it'll give you a list of all this. It'll give you a list to see of all the radio stations, and then you too can plug them into your car if you have Sirius Radio. Anyway, my husband got rid of his Sirius Radio, and he was saying to me the other day, he was like, I kind of miss it actually. He just has it on his phone, so he like plugs it in through his phone. But anyway, all right, you guys, I'm gonna get off here now. If nobody else told you this, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Tuesday. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!